Hey, this is Chris from Underoath, and you're watching AMBY.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia, and I would like to welcome you to my interview with Chris from Underoath.
Howdy.
Howdy do, how are ya?
Having a great day so far.
Yeah?
Can't complain, yeah.
Enjoying Warped Tour?
It's been awesome. I mean, but we've only been on it this is our second day, so we're coming in fresh-faced and, yeah.
Well, this is Underoath's first Warped since 2009.
Yes.
So it's feeling a little bit surreal now that it's come again.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's weird, because when I actually think about how it's been almost a decade since we were on the tour, like, that's crazy. But also, it's so much the same. Like, it's the same. We played. Where were we yesterday? I don't remember where we were yesterday, but we played Warped Tour Toronto
Some city.
so many times, and it's like a lot of the same crew working the tour, like same, catering people, same bus drivers.
Wow.
Like, so in that way, it's like almost just like, oh, we're back, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long. So
Imagine too, there's like a big camaraderie just seeing all the same bands that you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that's probably my favorite part of the tour, just because a lot of bands that we have toured with. And a lot of bands that we haven't seen in a long time. Like this guy right over here, I hung out with him yesterday. I haven't seen him in 13 years was the last time we toured together.
Wow.
But because, our stylistically, bands are just different, but then we get to, get together and hang out with people. And, it's people that we've known for a long time, and it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Warped for a lot of kids, it's their first festival. So for you, what was the first show you went to?
Like first,
as a fan.
That would probably have been. I went and saw this band Yeti. There's like this local death metal band back in Florida. I went and saw them and a band called Extol. They, I guess, co-headlined, if you want to call it that. There was like 30 people there, but I think that was probably my my first show that I paid to go see myself. So yeah.
And did that kind of have any impact on you as a performer, or was it just one of those things you went to and were like, okay, that was cool, but that's kind of put away?
Yeah, I mean, it was more so that, like, even back then, like, I didn't see being in a band and playing music as something that I would do. It was more like I just enjoyed listening to music, and I enjoyed, going to shows when I could. But I honestly just kind of fell into doing this, and I think looking back, that probably going to those shows definitely did have an impact. I listened back to Underoath's like really early stuff, and the stuff that I wrote is very similar to a lot of the bands that I listened to at that time.
Okay.
So that's I think it was an unconscious inspiration, but nonetheless it was. So
Yeah, well, you kind of were talking there a little bit about how it fell into your lap. So tell me a bit about it.
So I used to play guitar, just the most novice guitar player ever, like really not good. But this was back when I was in high school, and Underoath was a band in high school, but there was like nothing going on. Like, it wasn't like a huge thing. It was just like, oh, there's a show this month, and then we're doing like a show next month. And I was just friends with the guys who were in the band at the time. And they decided they wanted to get a keyboard player, or they wanted to have keyboards in the band. So our old singer, back when we were in high school, was playing keyboards and singing at the same time. And then I was hanging out with him one day, and he's like, yeah, we're either going to try to find a keyboard player, or we're just not going to have keyboards anymore, because I don't want to do both.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't play keyboard at all, so I was like, oh, well, good luck, hope you can find somebody. And then I guess it was probably a week or two later, like, they came to me and said, hey, do you want to play keyboard in our band? And at the time, like I said, it was, we were in high school, and there was that wasn't an actual, like, a commitment. It was more just like, hey, we'll practice and jam, and we might have a show at some point.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, sure, that would be fun, not knowing
what this
that
would
I would
become.
be, like, here, like,
Wow.
20 years later. So, yeah.
Well, it's super exciting for the band because Erase Me is finally out for people to hear.
Yes.
So the anticipation, just kind of leading up to the release, was that kind of just killing you inside? Like, hey, I want people to hear this stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of it was killing me because we were recording the album, but, like, we didn't... When we decided we wanted to do an album, we didn't want to have, like, the pressure of, like, people knowing we were doing the album. Like, we wanted to be able to go, because we hadn't written together in so long. we wanted to have the ability to go in and write, and if something great happened, put it out. But if we weren't feeling it, we didn't want to have the pressure of like, oh well, now we have to put a record out. But we, from the get-go, we were feeling really good about it. So we're in the studio for 2 months, and then we were like super pumped on it, and then it got done. And during all this time, like, we're just being careful to like not allude to the fact that we're like doing anything.
Yeah, actually recording something.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Hard.
Yeah, so I think especially this day and age, because it's like you want to, like, if you're doing something that cool and fun, you want to like share it with everybody. But we had to just like not
under wraps.
Yeah, and I think that was probably cool because we were just focused on just laser focused in the studio and like not worried about what people were going to think about it. More just like, hey, like, we want to write something that's like exciting us. So it was it was hard to not talk about, but the day that we finally announced that we were going to put out a record, and B, that it was done already, that was a good day. So
well, there's some really personal songs on the album. I mean, one that really stands out to me is I Hate It. And Spencer actually said it was almost about his struggle of, hey, am I a drug addict or do I just like drugs? It's one of those things that's very personal to somebody, and it's kind of incredible that he's able to share some of his hardships. So for you, when songs are more personal, do you second guess yourself and you're like, hey, should we share something like that, or you trust your fans enough to know?
I don't think I really second guessed any of it. Like, as far as the lyrics are concerned, that's 100% Aaron and Spencer. But I remember having a conversation with Spencer before we started writing. When we were just talking about what if we wrote an album, what it would be, and when we decided that we were going to do an album, he called me and he was like, look, if we're going to do an album, if this is the last thing that I ever put out, I want to be able to say that I left everything on the table, and like, this is actually who I am, and not trying to like metaphorically
sugarcoat anything.
He's like, I don't want it to be a metaphor. I want it to be like, hey, look, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm going through. Because he was like, I think that if I do that, it hopefully will help somebody, and if even if it doesn't, he's like, I'm being true about who I am and what I'm dealing with. And it's I even though it's secondhand for me because I don't write lyrics, like, it's still a little nerve-wracking, like, knowing that there's like that personal of a thing and that raw of a thing that's just kind of going out and just like you're just like throwing it out into the world. But since the album's been out, there's been so many people that have come up and like said that this song helped them or that song helped them, or I didn't know that somebody else was going through the same thing that I was going through. And like, I think that him specifically being open about his drug addiction has been a really good thing, because there's it's not a lot of times people will talk about issues they're going through or struggles they're going through in a broad sense, but they won't actually say what it is. So like, for him coming out and saying like, look, like, I'm addicted to drugs, this is something that I deal with, that's been huge, because it's opened up a really good conversation as far as we're concerned with the people that listen to the record, because a lot of people are getting a lot out of it, so it's cool.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, here on the site, we not only interview musicians, but also wrestlers.
What's that?
We also interview wrestlers on the website.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome.
if you were to kind of have that gimmick or in-ring persona, what would it be?
See, I have always just, in my brain, I'm not on the level at all, but I always just feel like a mix between Ric Flair and the Ultimate Warrior. Like, I just that going 190% just until you puke thing, like
shaking the ropes intensely.
Yes. Oh yeah. I was joking about how I want my riser when we do a headlining tour to have ropes around it so that I can shake the ropes.
That'd be amazing.
And Warrior had before he passed away, he had a YouTube channel. I don't know if have you seen it?
No.
And an entire YouTube channel where he would just have selfie iPhone videos, and he would just yell into his phone and it was just like all this like motivational
I don't know how
stuff.
I didn't come across
Oh,
that.
you should check it out.
Yeah.
It's golden. So we had a whole tour where we were just watching these videos. Like he would be in his basement at like 5 a.m. Like I remember there was multiple times where he would have this video and he's talking about his workout. He's just like, if you're gonna do something, you just need to get up and do it. Don't pussyfoot around, all this stuff. And then he would be like, I don't feel like I gave this workout everything I need, so I'm just gonna have to do it again. And he would like put the phone down. And he would just go and work out again.
my gosh.
And we would watch these videos and just be like, yes.
I can imagine you like watching these before you actually have a set and just getting hyped.
We did it all the time.
Did you really?
Oh yes,
Wow.
it was great. So yeah,
That's crazy.
R.I.P. Warrior, and Ric Flair's still the man. So yeah,
You had a really good Warrior impression there. Can you do a good Ric Flair woo?
I can, but it's really loud, and I don't want to be the guy.
The guy to disrupt all the other
I do it
interviews?
during our set though. So
Okay.
yeah. So if you watch,
Yeah.
I'll do it. I always do it at some point.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an eye out.
Yeah, always.
We'll just wrap things up. I want to leave it with the fans. Anything you want to say to all of those who'll be viewing?
Oh man, I don't know. I think that it's hard to not sound like cliche and like cheesy about like talking about what it means to have people that support what it is that you do. But I think in general, I would just want to say like, you know, the thing that we love to do the most in the world is play music and go on tour and like be able to create, and we would not get to do the thing that we love to do if it weren't for people who support that thing. So you know, I'm super thankful for that, and I guess whoever is watching, if that's you, thanks, because I love doing this and I wouldn't get to if you didn't support it. And also I think on another level, I think that people should kind of reevaluate the way that they view bands in general, because I think when bands come to town, they'll come to your town and you'll go and you'll see them and they'll be on stage and they'll be like this, like, man, they're doing us a favor by being here, and like this is so amazing. But it's like, don't forget that like you're the one that allows them to do that, and you buying a ticket and buying a t-shirt allows them to do the really cool thing. So like it's more of a give and take than you realize. So you know, yeah, people are awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me today. I really
Of course.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for doing it. Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. And
Yep.
remember, to everyone viewing, you visit us at alicia2.com for all exclusive interviews and features. See ya.